Good morning, people of the world. I'm your host, Zachary Asarnow for In Your Face Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have a great episode. It's an interview with the organization Piper Angels founder Travis, and this one is pretty personal to me because my mom had cystic fibrosis, which is what this organization is based on. And earlier this year, she passed away, and so this one is a great interview for anyone who has been impacted by cystic fibrosis, or even if you don't really know what cystic fibrosis is. This is a great one to listen to and pay attention to. It will inform you, and it will inform you of the great things that they are doing. And yeah, thank you so much for joining or tuning in. And it's a very great interview. All right, thank you. All right, so let's start off with can you just let us know the history behind Piper's Angels and what's it about, why you started it and how it's grown?
Sure, sounds good. So Piper's Angels Foundation was created in 2017, and that was a few years after my daughter Piper was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at 4 years old. And in learning about her diagnosis and the challenges that families with cystic fibrosis face, I felt compelled to create an organization that would focus on innovative solutions and social services for the families and innovative ways to create awareness for the cystic fibrosis community. And it was really after Piper had spent a couple months in the hospital, and she ended up with a feeding tube and a long-term IV port, and she just went through a lot. And she was, only a young girl. She was only 8 years old at that time. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is a lot for a family to go through, and there's a lot of challenges that come up, and we have a strong family, but I was just thinking, man, there's got to be a lot of families out there that have a much harder time with this than we do. And historically, a lot of the fundraising in the cystic fibrosis community has gone to research for a cure, which is amazing. But on the other hand, you have people living longer with the disease, but it creates new complications that they're facing. And so, taking a focus on creating a way to serve those families was really the focal point of creating the foundation.
All right, awesome. It's such a great thing that you have created. And just in what's happened this year, how has this year really affected charity and organization?
Yeah, that's a really great question. The pandemic has affected a lot of organizations and people in a lot of different ways. And although it's really sad that, there's this new threat out there for people and their health, and a lot of people have died, we have seen a lot of positives as well. And this is the first year that we didn't produce. We had to cancel our Crossing for Cystic Fibrosis Paddle Challenge event from the Bahamas to Florida, which was about 90% of the revenue for the foundation. So we're very, very fortunate that in the first few years of the foundation's growth that we had enough resources and enough support to carry us through this year. But it's been challenging, and we really had to refocus our efforts on what we could do after we unraveled what we weren't going to be able to do. And really a big part of that was being able to connect with a lot of the other grassroots organizations in the cystic fibrosis community. When 10 years from now, when I think back about 2020, there'll definitely be a few things that I remember most from the personal side of my life, but also from the professional side. And from the professional side, what I'll remember most is that we were able to rally alongside a lot of other professionals in the cystic fibrosis community to bring a lot of awareness to the fact that people with cystic fibrosis are the original social distancers. You know, they're the original people who had to be in isolation. And that's a new awareness for a lot of people that didn't exist before 2020. And so that's made a real positive impact in a lot of people's lives, that cystic fibrosis is now more top of mind with those people.
Right. And like, as you're saying that you're like getting with a bunch of other like professionals and organizations, have you seen like more of the community like coming together to help and working together to like help fund stuff and like solve things?
Yeah. Hey, I like the bracelet you're wearing.
Yep.
I saw you.
I wear it every day.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, there's been a great coming together in a lot of ways. And to give you an example of that, earlier in the year, there was an organization based out of New York, a marketing agency that's in the healthcare world called Area 23. And they created a campaign called the Social Distancer Squad. And they created a website for it and a lot of social media video content. And they brought in all of these different nonprofits, grassroots CF nonprofits from regional areas all over the country. And when they did that, you know, it really connected us into kind of this web that didn't exist before. And it was really a relief to hear from other organizations the challenges that they're facing due to COVID and the pandemic, having to cancel events. You know, nonprofits typically run on the majority of their revenue comes in from fundraising events. So not having in-person events it's a tough toll on a lot of organizations. And so creating this online atmosphere of storytelling and of these young people with CF sharing tips on how to properly social distance and sharing from their perspective what life is like with cystic fibrosis and the challenges that they have, I think it really opened a lot of eyes to, you know, how grateful, although everybody is affected, how grateful you can be for your health and having your health and having your family and, you know more than anybody how difficult it can be and how much it can affect, you know, a CF family, to have somebody going through something and how important it is to show up and to be there, because, you know, life is short and it's shorter for some than others, but at the end of the day, we're all born terminal. You know, we're all born with the same diagnosis that, you know, we're here and we've got this time to live. And that's why I think it's amazing what you're doing, you know, to bring people into, a place of awareness where those stories can be covered and shared. And that to me was a big part of the, what this year was about.
Yeah, this year, since it's been so tough for everyone, I just like what you're saying, I'm like noticing like all these stories that aren't being told. I'm like, I want to tell them, and like how you're saying, life is short. We all have the same diagnostics. I want to live by that, and I want others to try and do that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much. You have created an amazing organization, and thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, and thank you very much. I really appreciate the time with you.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too. And let's stay in touch. I know we got to get you on a paddleboard crossing the ocean.
Oh,
soon,
yes.
so.
That would be awesome.
We got to make it happen.
Yeah, I would love that. All right. Thank you. Have a good day and stay safe.
Thank you very much, Zachary. Appreciate it.
Introjection. Also, if you want to hear the beginning of our interview, just stay to the very end. It's at the very end. And it's pretty good. He brings up a really cool quote that I really love. Like I'd never heard of it before this, but he said it, and I like always think about it. It's really great. So yeah, if you want to listen to that, it's at the very end. And if not, that's okay. But thank you so much for listening. Introjection. Thank you so much for listening. It means a lot to me. Introjection. Man, when I do these interjections, I should really see what I say in my original outro, because I already said thank you so much for listening, but I mean it, so thank you so much for listening. And please share, which I probably said in my outro, but I'm saying it again, so yeah, thank you. Introjection. Yeah. If you haven't already, make sure to follow my podcasts on Spotify, SoundCloud, or pretty much wherever you get your podcasts, except for Apple Music for some reason. And also on YouTube, follow me on In Your Face News with a Z. Follow, subscribe, like, and comment. Follow our Instagram at in_your_face_news with a Z. Follow us on there. Make sure to check out our website at inyourfacenewswithaz.com. And yeah, please share. And thank you so much for listening. Please stay safe. And as always, stay curious. Thank you. Hi.
Hey, nice to meet you, Zachary.
Nice to meet you too. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good.
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah.
Awesome. Are you in Orlando?
I am. Yeah. We had a weird school schedule today. It was like a block schedule, so just in that, but yeah, I'm in Orlando right now. Are you in Palm Beach?
Yeah, I'm in Palm Beach Gardens.
Nice. Yeah.
Are you doing online school right now?
I am. Yeah, I'm doing virtual school.
Right on. What grade are you in?
11th.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
So tell me a little bit about this is for a podcast, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, so I created a website called In Your Face News over the summer, and it's supposed to like cover undercovered stories and stuff that's not really heard that much. And then I decided to start a podcast that kind of does the same thing, but also interviews people to let people know about cool things in the community, in the world, and important stuff, and stuff that just interests me. Like my first interview I had was with Mayor Jerry Demings of Orange County, and my second one was with Dave Krepcho, who's the CEO of Second Harvest Food Bank.
Cool.
And you're my third.
Nice. Well, I'm excited, and thank you for thinking of me and having me, and good for you. I think it's really awesome that you've taken on this project, and I read a quote once that said, the only difference between who you are today and who you are a year from now are the people you meet and the books you read. And that one always stuck with me. And I've had a lot of great opportunities in my life that have come because of the people that you connect with,
Right,
and that connection is, even if it's one time in your life, can be so meaningful that it can have a result that lasts years.
Yeah. I always like meeting people, and like I love reading books, but I really like that quote. I'm gonna start thinking about that all the time too.
Yeah, it simplifies it, right? Simplifies kind of life. Is like, well, I love meeting people as well, and I love listening and hearing people's stories, and learning from people. I think it's really neat,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with my podcast. I'm trying to get people's stories out there, people's stories that aren't really heard and that I think should be and are really cool.
Yeah. And the great thing is that you really, to me, I look at that and that's like an entrepreneurial project that you've started, right? And I've been a part of so many entrepreneurial projects, and you learn from all of them. And a lot of them that I was a part of, they were successful, but a lot of them failed, and not failed in the sense of, the only way you succeed is by failing. So you never really fail, you're only learning. Yeah, it's just another lesson, right? So, but I learned so much from those types of projects that I started on my own, so much more than I learned from jobs where I was just an employee, or a project in school where I was just kind of following the teacher's guidance or whatever. But things that really you had to kind of go out there and bushwhack your way through it and figure it out on your own.
Right.
Really, it's tremendous, and it's great. It's great for your resume too, as as you move into college and into other aspects of your life. It'll be really nice to have this and look back on it and have it as an asset in your school bag.
Yeah, that's what I'm. One of the things I'm hoping for.
Yeah. The thing I've learned too from interviews is that interviews are really interesting because you learn to be a better interviewer, and you learn to ask questions and prepare for interviews and things like that, and that has helped me in a lot of other areas of life as well.
Yeah, and going back to that thing of learning from. We're just going a bit off topic, but it's okay. Learning from your failure. I created a mantra that I'm trying to live by over the summer, and it's called Stay Curious, and that's what I base all this off of. It's to live life to your fullest, to live in every moment, and to try new things and that you would never try before. I try to live by that, and I'm trying to share that with the world.
Yeah. So, well, that's a beautiful perspective, and I know you've been through a lot recently, and I know that your mom is very proud of you for the work you're doing and for the light you're continuing to bring to the world. So
thank you.
It's awesome.
All right. Thank you.